Port Charles has weathered storms, heartbreaks, and upheavals, but nothing could prepare the town for the shockwaves set off by Rocco Falconry's arraignment. As the courtroom doors slammed shut and the whispers began to echo across the marble halls of the courthouse, one thing became painfully clear: life in Port Charles is about to change. And just when the dust begins to settle, an unexpected political shakeup sends everyone scrambling. With a new mayor stepping into office, alliances shift, loyalties crack, and the future suddenly looks more unpredictable than ever. The Falconry family in crisis. The weight of the Falconry name has never felt heavier. For Lulu, who has already endured years of emotional turmoil and distance, seeing her son standing before a judge was a nightmare she never imagined living through. Dante, always the steady moral compass, was visibly rattled, torn between fatherly instinct and a police officer's duty to uphold the law. Even veteran court reporters whispered that they had never seen Detective Falconry look so broken. Rocco's arraignment was brief, but the fallout was immediate. Charges linked to a reckless chain of events spiraled out of control, leaving the DA's office eager to make an example of him. Though Rocco stood tall, his expression hardened, his knuckles white, the quiet shame in his eyes didn't go unnoticed by anyone in the room. Outside the courthouse, emotions ran wild. Maxie rushed to support her nephew, wrapping her arms around him as if she could physically shield him from the media storm forming outside. Olivia, fierce as ever, lashed out at reporters who spun the story into a scandal before the ink on the arraignment papers had even dried. But the most unexpected reaction came from Charlotte Cassadine. Charlotte's conflicted heart. Once Rocco's closest friend, and perhaps something more, Charlotte stood at a distance, her eyes clouded with guilt. She knew more than she'd admitted. Her own complicated Cassadine inheritance had tugged her into shadows she never wanted Rocco to see. And while she hadn't intended for things to go this far, her silence had helped ignite the firestorm now consuming him. Valentin noticed immediately. His glance shifted between his daughter and the courthouse steps, reading her silent plea for help even before she could form the words. But would helping Rocco mean exposing Charlotte? And how much was Valentin willing to risk? Charlotte's moral dilemma is far from over, and spoilers suggest she may be forced to choose a side sooner than she thinks. A town divided. News of Rocco's arraignment spread through Port Charles like wildfire. The community found itself divided between those who believed the troubled teen needed guidance, not punishment, and others who argued that privilege shouldn't shield him from accountability. Even Sonny Corinthos, who once saved Rocco's life as a baby, struggled with the situation. Torn between protecting a boy he once considered family and maintaining order in a town already on edge, Sonny chose his words carefully when speaking with Dante. But the tension between the two men was unmistakable. The last thing Sonny wants is another legal mess connected to him, yet he can't ignore his loyalty to Dante. Meanwhile, the courthouse drama created the perfect distraction for an ambitious figure waiting in the wings. Port Charles gets a new mayor. As chaos swirled around the Falconry family, Port Charles City Hall was undergoing a quiet transformation of its own. After months of political pressure, Mayor Laura Collins decided to step down. Temporarily or permanently remains unclear. Rumors swirled about health concerns, emotional strain, or pressure from the council after a series of controversial decisions. Stepping into her place is someone no one expected. Quentin Hale, a polished, sharply intelligent political strategist with charm as smooth as polished marble, and an agenda he keeps buried under calm smiles. Quentin's arrival in Port Charles was subtle, almost eerily so. His speech after being sworn in was elegant, comforting, and yet somehow unsettling. The kind of speech that promises safety while tightening the leash around a town's throat. Port Charles has seen leaders before, some noble, others dangerous. But Quentin's poised confidence hides a depth no one has quite figured out. And it didn't take long for him to swoop into the courthouse chaos. Cameras flashed as he offered words of sympathy for the Falconry family, though insiders whispered his tone felt more like calculation than compassion. But his interest in Rocco's case stirred questions. Was he genuinely invested in justice? Or was this merely a foothold, the perfect opportunity to make a bold first move as mayor. Old secrets, new power. The shift in power rattled long-standing players in town. Victor's surviving allies watched with renewed interest. End Quartermain raised an eyebrow but kept his thoughts guarded. Even Ava Jerome, always attuned to the shifting energy of Port Charles, sensed something dark beneath the mayor's polished exterior. And then there was Alexis, who knew the political world better than anyone. Her instincts were quick. Quentin Hale was a man who didn't step into office without a plan, and she intends to uncover it. But the biggest question remains: what does Quentin want with the Falconry family? Rocco's fate hangs in the balance. Rocco's next court date looms like a storm cloud over the family. Dante and Lulu brace for whatever comes next, but they're not the only ones watching closely. Valentin, Charlotte, Sunny, and now Mayor Hale all have stakes in the outcome, though none of them share the same agenda. Meanwhile, Rocco himself seems to be spiraling deeper into a mix of anger and guilt. Teenage rebellion has evolved into something more dangerous: self-blame. If someone doesn't reach him soon, his path could grow darker than anyone realizes. The calm before an oncoming war. As Port Charles adjusts to its new political landscape, the consequences of Rocco's arraignment continue to ripple outward. Relationships strain, old wounds reopen, new alliances quietly form. And beneath the surface, an unseen game is unfolding, one that may pull together the Falconrys, the Cassidines, the Corinthos family, and City Hall in a battle for power unlike anything Port Charles has seen in years. Because Rocco's arraignment was only the beginning. And the new mayor. He just lit the match.